I've just never been here before. I was just having flashbacks. I thought you were taking me back to that last year. I don't want to. I don't want to go there. Yeah. We good, Rich? Good. David?
With all the work you do on in-game situations, how gratifying is it to have it come to fruition this early in the season, and does that help you kind of install things as you go forward?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's, the last sequence of plays was a church timeout situation. We have families that we break down our game management playbook. So just the control, starting with Dak out there, and we had some things to anticipate that didn't happen there at the end, and we had the substitution situation. But yeah, it's frankly it's what we talked about the night before the game. These games usually come down to the end, and just trust your training. We've put an enormous amount of time into these game situations, reps, and I thought our players handled it very well.
How do you stay calm in these situations as the head coach, knowing that so much can go wrong, so much can go right at the end?
Well, there's really good dialogue. The network of communication for the game situation is, like I said, we've put a lot of time into it here. Starting there, was it second down? We made a substitution because we wanted to take the risk out of the type of run that we ran. I'm sure if you recall the play, the sweep, jet sweep, but we call it cricket. It's the open side, and just because there's a lot of officiating going on in the game. So that's did I say that right? Yeah. Okay, thank you. So just being smart there, and frankly, the crew in the box, we were anticipating them calling a timeout there. But then we had one of our guys went outside the numbers, and so at that point we got to this 17-second threshold, and then that's when I've just never seen that happen. The clock that I was looking at went out, and then Kellen was blocked by the clock he said he was looking at. Next thing you know, there's 9 seconds left. But we got it done.
Was Tony tired at that point, or was there a personnel change? Was he trying to?
Well, we went from 11 to 20, to Pony. And I just think, because he went in to run that play, we had more reps in that particular personnel group. Which, it's not common to substitute in 2 minutes, but like I said, there was anticipation with them having 3 timeouts left.
When you looked at the film, it seemed like Peter kept outside. He had more yards, and he probably could have run out of bounds. He cut it back in on that sweep.
Yeah, but once again, I think the most important thing here, because we're just trying to get yards. I don't disagree with the thought about going out of bounds and so forth. And I think Tony is, his running style, his ability to get north and south is really unique. So, yeah, I didn't have a problem with the decision.
Do you follow the clock on the overhead board, or does it change?
Not anymore.
I was wondering.
Yeah. So no, I'm glad it happened. I was telling a story on the plane last night that the last place I worked, we had a permanent one right there on the 50-yard line. So, because a big part of coaching, and that's kind of why we review it on Saturdays, is every coach has a responsibility, and you have to keep your eyes. Your eyes need to be, whether you're watching the backside in the run game, or if you're watching the backside in the coverage. So, and it's no different for me as a head coach, especially when you're calling the plays. I'm used to you call plays, and then you got to get your set your eyes. So I was watching the clock, across the field. They're about a 20-yard line the whole game, and so then all of a sudden, some marketing or something. I don't know what the hell. I don't. Just this thing starts right.
Yeah, to kind of get everybody in the crowd in. So
yeah, just when you think you're seeing it all in this league, something else happens. So.
Well, something like that. Do you report it to the league and ask for because again, it's, or is it only the clocks on the field that they control, or how does that go?
Fine.
That's what.
It's the only one I answer for.
Oh yeah. I don't know about that ring here now. Yeah, I'm not buying that. That's for sure. Yeah, but no, it's a great point. But I think like anything, I'll use the end zone clock from here on in. So it's and that's the first thing you always do when you go in a new stadium. And last year, it was a little bit of an issue, but I just assumed it was the first game, just because, there was no one in the, so, the operation wasn't normal last year. So, but yeah, that's part of having experience in the league. And, we talk about the vital signs of your, in your review for each and every game, just, clock and, keeping everybody in tune with that too. So, but, we obviously have people in the box watching the clock too. So we were fine.
Is that, again, I was going to say, is that a credit to the preparation you're planning, also the pause that got in the field? Because everybody else were like, what's going on? They're talking running down, and we're thinking it's chaos. And
we're talking on the headsets though. No
one panicked,
Yeah.
and it worked out, even though from the outside looking in, like, what are they doing?
Yeah, and then Dak, once again, we were in field goal range, and once again, we were, the second down call was when we were just trying to lower the risk for what we were calling, and but yeah, Dak just, just talking with him in the quarterback meeting, he just was like, yeah, we were in field goal range, so once again, there was anticipation of them calling the timeout, and it didn't occur, so and that's why we kicked it at 4.
56 yards is field goal range. What's the edge of field goal range for you guys?
What do you mean?
Well, 56 of the percentage aren't very good to make.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if you have like maximums that you say, okay, we got to get to this place for him to kick it.
Well, I mean, the line going in was 40. That's the operating. It's usually, in my experience, something that you not only grade your kicker, but you also grade the kicker, the opponent's kicker in the pregame. So, it's something you just keep on your call sheet. So, particularly indoors, it usually gets up to the 40. Now, when you're an outdoor team, like the average in the past was always 34, 35, 30, sometimes even 33, up there in Green Bay. So, that's all part of your, preparation during the week and your pregame preparation.
Do you adjust that much based on what the kicker does in that pregame?
Well, you have it, going in. That's part of the advanced scouting report that's going on right now. So, I mean, that's what we do on Mondays. But so you have a range. Bones will break it down based on the tape, and his history and so forth. And then we have someone chart that charts it in pregame. So then with that you have a, because Dan needs that information. Just like last week in Tampa. I think the mark there was 40, but like anything, if you can keep, because it changes the trajectory, and and it also may put you in a certain type of rush. So all those things factor in your game plan.
Mike, how much is Tony Pollard's success directly related to Zeke and the threat of Zeke and the 1-2 combo part of that?
Well, I think the fact that they play, the run styles play off of one another is very useful, especially for game plan, and the fact that you don't have to lean one way or the other too, because Tony can run all the concepts, Zeke can run all the concepts. So with the balance we were looking for, I think Zeke was 44 plays and Tony was 21. So I mean it's a long year. So that I really like the combination that we're using there. So I would say they complement each other very well. It's part of both of their success. That's the way I'd answer your question.
What's the process been like, just gauging how much, from a snap count standpoint, putting on Micah's plate, given all the positions he's been doing, based on what he's shown thus far, do you feel like he's ready for more?
Well, you mean more as far as playtime, or? I think it's just like anything. It's based on what position he plays. And obviously he's playing outside. He's rushing against 310-pound men, 320-pound men. So that's all factored into. We have a projected play time that in our final review with the coordinators we go through Saturday mornings. So we have a projected play time for every player. So and no different from Micah. Is that what you're looking for?
I suppose so. I guess I look at him and I look at Basham and I look at Dorrance, and Micah, his productivity is pretty off the charts. And so, I understand that the comparison is a little different compared to like a linebacker, but at his position, it seemed like maybe he might be ready for more.
Well, I think this. He plays two positions. he creates targeting challenges for the offense. So we'll maximize that opportunity the best we can. But I think we all recognize the week that we went through last week. We had some changes midweek, and so that all factors into it too.
The ones in the tape was still a little bit better than what you thought? Because you said he was pretty good at the game.
Yeah, he graded out very well. I thought he played very well, and I think really the way the game started was exactly what we were looking for. So, and I thought Terrence took that opening drive and just carried it through pretty much the whole game. So, yeah, I thought he played extremely well.
How did Damari come out with the ribs, and anybody else kind of get?
We had a couple guys. Yeah, Mari had the ribs. I think he put, we'll see Wednesday how he feels. We'll go a mock game only on Wednesday, so our Wednesday type practice will be on Thursday. But Carlos Watkins has a knee sprain, and Dorrance Armstrong has an ankle.
Is Mari just bruised or infection or ribs or?
I would probably put in the classification of bruised.
My game's because you have a game on Monday, I assume.
Yeah, we're kicking everything. It's we call it a bonus Wednesday.
Did they get a victory Monday?
No, they didn't.
Huh?
No, we worked today.
Okay.
It was growth Monday. If you're
Fast and Furious
Friday, growth Monday.
opponent Wednesday, workload Thursday, launch Saturday. So there you go. What else you want?
You talked about it last night about needing that victory, building on it with these 3 home games. Important to establish yourself at home, and you got a chance to really get on the roll right now.
Well, I think like anything, the home opener is always special. I mean, in the fact that we're going to be playing in front of our home crowd, especially after playing in front of our home crowd yesterday was cool. But it's to have three in a row. I mean, you definitely want to take advantage of that. I mean, there's no doubt about it. But at the end of the day, these games are so hard to win, especially on the road. And then the hardest games, in my opinion, are the division games, and that's really where the focus is on. I didn't even talk about the 3 games to the team. We're all about Philadelphia right now.
Mike, has Randy Gregory been cleared from the COVID list, and do you have any other changes in COVID protocol?
Randy, my understanding is Randy will be in the building Wednesday is when he'll return.
It was just reported that the Eagles, Zach Ertz, has been put on the COVID list. How will that change your defensive philosophy?
We're not that far into it. So, frankly, we just finished up with the players at 2:30, and we're having our advanced scouting meetings. That's going on right now. So once we dive into the game plan tonight and tomorrow, we'll see how it shakes out.
I think Leighton drew 3 holding calls in his play time. Is play time production per snap something you guys monitor? See, he's pretty 37 snaps, 7 tackles, the sack, the holds. Do you guys break it down that way?
Yeah, I mean we have a software that we developed here internally that's pretty much charts everything. Play time, production. We also keep track of all the fundamentals, the technique, because not only we grade them for their performance, we're always as a coaching staff we're always building the next cut up. We're always so all the things we practice and all the things we do in the game. So it's a very extensive grading process that our coaches do a great job with.
Well, with Randy back, what do you kind of envision for Micah without giving away any secrets? Will it be similar to what he did, or will it be kind of a little bit back to what he had?
Really, the game plan will answer that. Obviously they're a new coaching staff. I had a chance to watch them. Probably the first 3 quarters on TV yesterday. While I was at the stadium. So, they're doing a lot of spread offense. It looked like mostly all spread. Just at the time I was watching them. So, the game plan will answer that.
Last night you were talking about after losing Lawrence last week, and you talked about the adjustment that was made defensively, I think was how you termed it as far as the scheme. Can you walk us a little bit through that process? Because that happens, we have an injury to a key player where you already have the defensive or offensive game plan. The guy goes out in practice. How does that work from that point going forward as far as?
Well, usually, the first thing, and I learned this from Marty Schottenheimer, and when you're assistant coach, you really don't like it, but now that you're a head coach, you clearly understand it. You usually cut your volume. So anytime you have sudden change, whether it's in a game, personnel during the week. The normal process is usually you cut back on your volume, and that's frankly what we did.
What stood out on Zach Martin's film?
Oh, I thought it was very physical, and I thought as a whole, that the offensive line, this is, the two games we played, just the way we were apexing the run. I thought we did a really good job commanding the line of scrimmage, and I think Zach, graded out extremely high. So with that, I thought he had a hell of a game.
Y'all expressed belief in Greg after last week also, but is there any more faith in him after this week, and why'd you decide to give him the game ball?
Well, he made the game-winning field goal, so it was pretty easy. But he had a great week, and I think, like all of us, he's our teammate, he's our brother. You obviously want to win the game, and for him to have that success, he definitely earned it. And so, but he also won the game ball for special teams this week. We hand out a game ball after each win. We'll present that to the players on Sunday. So offense, Tony Pollard was a game ball winner. On defense, J. Ron Kearse was a game ball winner, and Greg was the game ball winner on special teams. Is that good news? I see like I was on her phone. Said something good today, Rich. How about that?
Tweeting the game balls.
Tweeting the game balls.
What's Kearse giving you these first couple of games? He's played almost all the snaps.
No doubt. I thought he was all over the field. Number one, I love his play style, his intensity, his production. He had the interception. In my view, that was a tough call to see it go against him. I thought it was a really good coverage on it. Excellent. Jared Cook played him outside leverage there. So, but he's really the utilization of him in matchups has been a real asset for us. But I just love the way he played both, in the run and the pass.
Versatility to be able to come around.
Absolutely.
On.
Absolutely.
Is there a name? I hope it's not proprietary, just what you guys call it, but when you got three safeties on the field at one time,
Yep.
what is the name?
It's proprietary.
Mike, you've coached a million games. Does yesterday's win constitute a steal and a win?
Stealing a win?
Yeah.
No.
Escaping with a win?
Not at all. I think we clearly went in there yesterday expecting to win, and there wasn't a point in the game that we didn't expect to win that game. No, I didn't look at that as stealing a win. We had a lot of respect for what they accomplished the week before. We obviously being an uncommon opponent. I thought our players did a great job in the extra preparation, getting ready for their matchups. So, we believe we're going to win that game from start to finish.
What does that win say about the growth of your defense? So much has been said. That was the first win, I guess, for the Cowboys team scored under 30, when they scored less than 30 points since 2018. And we usually have to score a lot because of the defense issue with the 11-17 and got the 2 turnovers. I think every drive they had was in Cowboys territory. But
I think like a lot of things in football, you get what you emphasize, and sometimes you get what you tolerate. And I think our defense, they hold each other to a high accountability. I think these guys, you see these guys interact, their meetings, the communication levels extremely high. I would definitely, and it's something you're always working on. Every football team's working on it, but I just think that the standard that's been set in the room, and they're committed to it. So we got really good leadership throughout the locker room, and I think it's very evident over there on defense this year.
Does that start with Dan? You talk about communication of that group. Does that start with Dan interview?
Absolutely. No, Dan's done a tremendous job. I think, like anything, Dan is as excellent as a communicator that I've ever worked with. So he's the same guy every day, brings the juice. His energy is the same every day. Very detailed in everything that he does, and everything that he commands, he gives it to them tenfold. So he's been a huge asset for us.
You mentioned Kellen was patient as a
Yes.
play caller a couple of times. Why is that hard to be patient as a play caller, and what were they doing that made patience be the right way to go about it?
Well, you watch the game, particularly how they played their coverages. So, we went in there with a plan of, we needed to be high completion percentage. So, between Kellen and Dak, I thought they knocked that out of the park. Our 3-step game was way up yesterday compared to the week before, and that's something you have to be patient with. You especially with our receivers, you'd like to take more shots down the field. And there's a discipline to that. I thought Kellen called an excellent game.
As a young play caller, is that something like you just need to go through it to learn patience? Because you might just say, okay, let's take a shot here, whether it's there or not.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's fair. I mean, I think Kellen has shown in his time as a coordinator that he can put his foot on the gas and put up big numbers. And I love that about him. His aggressiveness, not only in calling a game, but also in the game plan component of it. So, being patient and playing complimentary football, it takes a discipline. And I thought he was excellent yesterday.
You talked before about keeping him in place when you came because of the continuity and the relationship with that, but still, you'd called plays. You're going to turn that over. You hadn't worked with him before. How many meetings did you have with him where you were comfortable and convinced that this is a guy we need to keep in place? This is going to work.
Well, I mean, it was something that I gave a lot of thought to, and it was difficult. I mean, it was actually funny because we were joking. Doug and I was joking about this before the game. I was in there just going through my call sheet, and Kellen and I were standing on the sideline in the preseason game against Jacksonville. So because Doug called that game, so. And Kellen says, "Man, I'm bored stiff." I said, "You're talking to the wrong guy, man. Tell me about it." So it was a big decision personally for me. But when I looked at this opportunity and was blessed to get this opportunity, it was about Dak Prescott. What was the best? What would be the best to continue to advance? Dak. And the first thought was the language. And just watching Kellen, as a player, and I remember when he was coming out of Boise and Chris Peterson talking about, what he thought of him as a player, but not only his football mind. He's a coach's son, all those things. So I thought it was a very natural transition because, frankly, my focus was, I knew the biggest change was going to be the defense. We knew, there was a defensive system that was here for a long time, and that was my focal point. And I thought it was clearly the best thing for Dak. And this is, like I tell him, Dak, when we talk football, this is his offense. I want him to have the same offense his whole career. I've been fortunate to work with Hall of Fame quarterbacks, and when they have being systematic and building that system around them is a big part of the success on offense, and that's the way it'll always be as long as I'm standing up here.
Kellen interviewed for the Eagles job in the offseason. Were you thinking that, okay, he's going to get an opportunity here sooner rather than later?
Oh, I think he's ready. Yeah, I mean, in my personal opinion, I'll work with him for over a year. I think he'd be an excellent candidate for any head coaching job.
It's only 2 weeks in, but how good is Dick's playing right now?
Oh, really good. I mean, he's had two tremendous matchups, 2 weeks in a row, and he's answered the bell. He's had some. The only negative in his game has been the combative penalties. And if you don't have combative penalties as a football team, maybe you got to look at, maybe we're not playing hard enough. So, other than that, I think he's played at a very high level.
You mentioned it with the first-year head coaches, Staley and now Sirianni. What's the challenges that presents for you guys? Just no time on task, watch them and see what they really are.
The newness. I mean, it's we're in the era of unscouted looks, and everybody's coming out of the off season. Usually the first 4 games it takes to really get a beat on tendencies and how guys really wants to play, and so and then top it off with the whole different spread offense. So the newness of their staff is going to be the challenge.
But Leighton and Jalen's attitude, obviously so much was focused on Micah. They were big guys here, and obviously they didn't get a lot of play time last week, but they stayed in tune and certainly were able to control yesterday. Yeah,
I just think it points to their commitment and really, tells you a lot about them as men, as individuals. I think, both Leighton and Jalen have been so consistent, and I know just in my time here, and I say that I know all the time, but that's what I appreciate. I think players and coaches, it's important to be the same personality every day. It's everybody's in charge of their own energy. It's important to be consistent with your energy every day, and I think those guys exemplify that very well.
With Amari on the ribs, was that from the hit that he took earlier in the game in the end zone, or was it that play? Do you know, or something he'd been
I
dealing
think
with?
there's that play, and it's something he was dealing with for a little bit from last week.
On Dak's interception, what was the coaching point? And there are a couple guys over there. Who was the intended receiver?
I was the 10 receiver CD.
On one of the touchdown runs, Dalton's blocking showed up on Bosa. What does he bring in that game, especially when you're trying to help out?
I thought both our tight ends blocked very well. I thought Dalton, probably had one of his best performances blocking. I thought we had, a couple plays in that first series that we can clean up. But I thought that the run blocking unit as a whole, and those guys were definitely at the point of it. Particularly when we were trying to lean right by design. And we needed a big performance from our tight ends, and we got it yesterday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.